Hi, my magical friends. I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. I am a psychic medium and a soul therapist, and I help the helpers, the light bringers, and the soulpreneurs of this world to live their most magical life. And today we're going to be diving into one of my favorite topics, spirit guides. We're going to be talking about how to connect with your spirit guide. This is something that people ask me so much about. This is something that so many people are interested in. And so I wanted to share this with all of you and share a little bit about my own journey with connecting with my spirit guides. So I want to start first with, just for people who aren't familiar even with the concept of spirit guides, what are spirit guides? In my experience as a psychic, as in connecting with these energies, what I have been told through readings and through connecting with the energy is that spirit guides are here as part of our spirit team. So we have a whole spirit team that is here simply to help us. You know, before we come here to this earth, we have some intention and some plan of what it is that we want to experience here, and our spirit guides are here. Our spirit team is here to help us with those intentions, to help us to live our best life path and to help guide us along the way. We also have angels, and crossed loved ones can be part of our spirit team, and all kinds of other energies, but today we're going to focus on spirit guides. So for me, when I was younger, I can remember that I was very connected to my spirit guides, and how I experienced that as a child was simply through this man and this woman that I could feel speaking to me within my mind and would help give me guidance, would help show me the way. You know, if I was about to make a decision that wasn't maybe the best for myself, I would get either this feeling, or I would hear this voice that would say, maybe you shouldn't do that, maybe you should try this. And that's really what our spirit guides do for us, is they're constantly trying to redirect us, they're constantly trying to show us the way. But sometimes it's so subtle, a lot of times it's so subtle we don't recognize that we are making those connections with our spirit guides. And as I got older, and as I kind of pushed my intuitive abilities away for quite some time, I wanted to reconnect with that again. And I found myself really easily connecting with my angels, but it was more difficult for me to connect with my spirit guides. And so I set the intention that I was going to connect with them, and every night for probably about 6 months, I sat there and tried to connect with my spirit guides. I set the intention that that was what I was going to do, and I would do a meditation, and I would try all kinds of different methods that I could read about to make that connection. And I have to tell you, I got really, really frustrated with that because nothing really seemed to happen. I had a couple experiences where I had a couple of images flash in front of me and a sense of what one of my guides was telling me her name was, but that was about it. And I felt really, really frustrated with that because I had a friend who was talking about her experiences with her guides, and she would describe seeing them in her mind almost as though it was a movie, you know, and would get very clear, very direct messages from her guides. And that was not my experience at all. And so I felt really frustrated with that. After I got frustrated enough, I kind of just said, you know what? I'm going to throw my hands up. This probably, I guess, isn't going to happen for me right now, so I'm going to release it. And what happened for me almost immediately after I just released this need to have this experience and to control the experience was I all of a sudden had the experience of having these images of two of my guides come through in my meditation. And it looked a little different than what I expected. It looked more like a series of pictures. But as I continued to meditate on that, and as I continued to work on that, I did connect even more and was able to see them even more and connect and get their names and have these kinds of experiences. But the thing is that I think with spirit guides, or with really anything, you want to be careful about what your expectations are. I was expecting it to be very clear, very vivid, very much a back and forth conversation, and that's just never been my experience with my guides. I might get a word, I might get some images from them or something of that nature, or a very quick message, but I just don't have these kinds of conversations. And what I realized over time in having conversations with other people is that actually it wasn't me that was unique in that way, in terms of I was having trouble connecting with my spirit guides. It was actually my friend was just very, very gifted and very, very connected in that way. So she was the weird one. But for most people, I find that we struggle to connect with our spirit guides because we have an expectation about what that is supposed to be. So that is really the first step, is to release your expectations of that. You may experience your guides in many, many different ways. You might experience them via symbols that come into your mind, where they are trying to guide you and show you something in some way, or they may even use a symbol to represent them. One of my guides likes to use the image of birds on a wire as a symbol for her. So I know whenever I see the image of birds on a wire, that that is a symbol for her, and that she is letting me know that she's present and here and wanting to get my attention. So sometimes they'll use different symbols. Sometimes it'll appear as images in your mind. Sometimes you'll simply hear a word or get a sense of something. And so you want to be really careful about what your expectations are, because I find that whenever we're making these connections, it's oftentimes very subtle. It might feel like it's just our imagination or a thought that's coming into our mind in our own voice. And so we want to really release those expectations and trust that what's coming through is some type of a connection with our spirit guides. The next thing is understanding that you connect more than you realize. And that's kind of what I was just talking about, is we connect all the time with our spirit guides. And so you're already connected to your guides. You're already getting messages all the time. Those times that you decide to take a different route home from work just because you have a particular feeling that day, that is your spirit guides helping to show you the way. That time that you feel compelled to reach out and call a friend because, and when you connect with them, you find out that they've really been struggling. That is your guides trying to give you a message and connect you with this person. So they're always synchronizing things for us. They're always connected to us. We are getting messages all the time in the form of what appears to be our own thoughts, or our own feelings. We are getting messages in the form of visions, in terms of just kind of, maybe it'll feel like a daydream or something, but we are connected all the time. So I think that that's really important for us to understand. The most important thing, if you're looking to develop more of a connection with your guides and maybe to be able to see them or connect with them on a deeper level, is to set the intention. And setting an intention really is the simplest thing. People complicate it. All you have to do is say out loud or in your mind, I would like to connect on a deeper level with my spirit guides. I am open to receiving that in whatever way that happens. And when we can set that intention, we open that door, we open ourselves to that energy, and then you have to just simply allow it to come through. The next step is to ask for answers. Ask about your guides. See what comes through. And I oftentimes find that these answers will come through when you're least expecting it, when you have your guard down a little bit, because oftentimes we are so focused on getting it right or it coming through in exactly a particular way that we can block that from coming through. And so sometimes when we're just doing something like driving in our car or just kind of sitting there drifting off, spacing out, or for me, I connect with my guides a lot when I'm doing my hair or my makeup or taking a shower. So it's oftentimes those quiet times, and we are receiving messages during those quiet times. So you often, if you put the intention out there to find out certain answers from your guides, you will receive those back. So for example, if you wanted to know what your spirit guides' names are, you might start with one of them, just focus on one guide at a time and just say, hey, I'd be really interested in connecting with you. I would really love to hear what your name is. Honestly, I don't think they really care so much about what we call them, but it is nice to ask. It is nice for us human beings to have a sense of what their name is or have something to call them. So you can ask that and just notice if anything comes through over the next week or 2 weeks, whether you hear a name repeated over and over and over again, kind of just you happen to hear it, you happen to notice the name stands out, you happen to read a name more often that seems to stand out in some way, or maybe even just a name keeps coming to your mind. If that's the case, trust it, allow it, because that is the way that your guide is trying to show you their name. You can also ask, what messages do you have for me? And again, set the intention that those messages are going to come through in the next week or so, and kind of just watch and notice what's showing up for you. Again, I want you to remember that it can tend to be pretty subtle and not really feeling like something that is outside of ourselves. And once you get a little bit more of a sense of working with your spirit guides, you can begin to get a sense of how it feels in the body or what it feels like when the messages are coming directly from them. So best of luck in starting to get connected with your spirit guides. I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. If you want to learn more about me or my services, you can check me out at discoveryourawakening.com. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure that you do that. It helps to support the channel and you get any notifications on any videos that I upload. So I really appreciate all of your support and thanks so much for watching today. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Take care.